Imagine waking up to your neighbor screaming that strangers are laughing on your deployed brother's porch, while a sold sign mocks you from the lawn. Yeah, that was my Saturday. But the real gut punch? The HOA queen who cares so deeply about property values had quietly auctioned off a decorated Air Force captain's home for $12,000 while he dodged rockets halfway around the world. And the cherry on top? She spent weeks telling the whole neighborhood I was the lazy, irresponsible deadbeat who let it happen. Welcome to Sunnyvale Estates, where the American dream comes with fines for breathing wrong and a president who smiles while she stabs you in the back. My name is Ethan Brooks. My older brother Ryan is the guy you see in recruitment posters, Captain Ryan Brooks, currently somewhere classified, keeping the rest of us safe. Before he shipped out 8 months ago, he slid me the keys, looked me dead in the eye and said, "Ethan, treat it like yours. You're the only one I trust." I nodded, swallowed the lump in my throat and promised. I paid the mortgage every month, kept the lawn military neat, even washed his damn truck on weekends so the neighbors wouldn't whisper. I thought I was doing everything right. Then the phone rang. Mrs. Delgado from next door, voice shaking like she'd seen a ghost. "Ethan, honey, there's a moving truck in Ryan's driveway. People are carrying couches inside like they own the place. There's a realtor out front high-fiving them." My coffee went cold in my hand. I was in my car before she finished the sentence, tires screeching through our picture-perfect streets lined with identical beige houses and HOA-approved rosebushes that somehow never had a single dead petal. I slammed the brakes in front of 1422 Maple Grove Lane. Sure enough, a shiny black truck blocked the driveway. A trendy couple in their 30s, him in designer joggers, her in Lululemon and oversized sunglasses, were directing movers like it was an HGTV episode. The realtor, clipboard in hand, was beaming like she'd just closed on the White House. "Excuse me," I said, voice low but already cracking with rage. "What the hell do you think you're doing in my brother's house?" The guy turned, flashed a polite bro smile. "Oh hey man. We just closed on it. Great deal, right?" His wife adjusted her sunglasses and gave me that pitying look people reserve for crazy uncles at Thanksgiving. The realtor stepped between us like a referee. "Sir, this was an HOA foreclosure auction 3 weeks ago. All paperwork is in order. They purchased it fair and square for $12,000. $12,000. Ryan's house was worth $350,000 easy." I felt the sidewalk tilt under my feet. Auction? My brother is deployed. I've been paying every bill. There were no missed payments, no notices. The realtor actually patted my shoulder. "You'll want to take that up with the HOA board, sweetheart. We just followed the listing." The wife leaned in conspiratorially. "We heard the previous owner's brother was not exactly on top of things. Grass got long, mailbox chipped. Sad really, especially with the Hero overseas." She said Hero like it was a brand of detergent. I didn't punch anyone. I wanted to. Instead I turned on my heel, got back in the car and drove straight to the HOA office. A sterile little building that smelled like air freshener and broken dreams. Vanessa Hargrove was waiting for me. President for 6 years running. Pearls always perfect. Smile always ready for the neighborhood newsletter photo. She greeted me like we were old golf buddies. "Ethan, darling. I heard there was some confusion this morning. Coffee. It's fair trade, of course." I ignored the mug. "You auctioned my brother's house. While he's deployed. For pocket change." She tilted her head, all concerned mom energy. "We sent multiple notices, Ethan. Certified mail. Grass length violation 3 times. Mailbox damage twice. Quarterly dues 3 months behind. Bylaws are very clear. We have to protect property values for everyone. $300 in fines," I said slowly. "You sold a $350,000 home for $300 in fines plus some made-up legal fees?" Vanessa's smile never wavered. "Legal fees do add up, dear. And really, if you'd been more proactive while your brother was away, well, we all make sacrifices." She leaned in like she was sharing a secret. "Between us, some residents have been concerned about the example it sets when a hero's property starts looking neglected. We can't have the neighborhood sliding, can we?" That's when I realized she'd already started the smear campaign. Later I'd hear it everywhere. At the community pool, the mailbox cluster, the stupid monthly wine and wine meeting. Poor Captain Brooks. If only his brother had stepped up, Vanessa had turned me into the villain before I even knew there was a war. I left that office shaking. Not with fear, with the cold, quiet kind of fury that makes you dangerous. I didn't scream. I didn't post angry rants. I went home, sat at Ryan's kitchen table, the one that now technically belonged to Yoga Pants Barbie, and started taking notes. Every ridiculous HOA fine I could find in the public records. Every time Vanessa had conveniently forgotten to send notices to other military families. I watched. I waited. And I smiled politely at neighborhood barbecues while they whispered behind my back. That was the beginning. 2 weeks later, the new owners threw a housewarming party. I wasn't invited, but the entire cul-de-sac was buzzing about the adorable couple who rescued the property from neglect. I stood in my own driveway pretending to wash Ryan's truck again, listening to the laughter drift across the street. Mrs. Delgado shuffled over, eyes sad. Ethan, honey, maybe it's time to let it go. Fighting the HOA is like fighting City Hall, with better manicures. I smiled the same tight smile I'd been practicing. I'm not fighting, Mrs. D. I'm just observing. That night I drove to a 24-hour diner on the edge of town and met Mia Torres. She slid into the booth wearing a hoodie and the kind of expression that said she'd seen too many Karen horror stories. I've been tracking Sunnyvale for months, she whispered, sliding a USB across the table. Vanessa Hargrove has quietly auctioned for military homes in the last 2 years. Always the same pattern, tiny violations, notices mailed to empty houses, quick sale to her cousin's real estate buddy at rock-bottom prices. She calls it community cleansing, in the private board Slack. I stared at the drive like it was a live grenade. She's targeting soldiers? Mia nodded. Easier targets. They're gone. No one to fight back. Plus it looks good on her annual report. Improved neighborhood standards. I have emails. I have a board member who's ready to flip if we give him protection. But Ethan, if you go public, she'll come at you hard. Rumors. Vandalism. Maybe worse. You sure you want this? I thought of Ryan's last video call. Sunburned, exhausted. Asking if the flag was still flying straight on the porch. I'm sure. The next morning my car tires were slashed. All 4. A note under the wiper. Mind your business or the hero gets the same treatment online. I took pictures, filed a police report that went nowhere, then drove to the auto shop on 4 rims like it was Tuesday. At the community meeting that week, Vanessa stood at the podium in a pastel cardigan and announced, "We must remain vigilant, friends." Some people just refuse to accept responsibility when their actions hurt the collective. Every eye slid toward me. I sat in the back row, arms crossed, and slowly raised my phone like I was recording her. Her smile twitched for half a second. That was the first crack. I didn't sleep much after that. Instead, I read every line of the Service Members Civil Relief Act until my eyes burned. I cataloged every petty fine Vanessa had ever issued, including the time she fined old Mr. Kowalski $250 for his American flag being faded beyond HOA color standards. Dark humor kept me sane. I started calling her President Pearls in my head and imagined her pearl necklace strangling her every time she said "greater good." Friends begged me to drop it. My mom cried on the phone. "Ethan, you'll ruin your life." But every time I wanted to quit, I'd walk past Ryan's house and see the new owner's Tesla in the driveway, and that stupid "Live Laugh Love" sign in the window where Ryan's folded flag used to sit. So I kept observing. I started showing up at every board meeting, polite as pie, asking innocent questions about transparency. Vanessa's answers got shorter. Her perfect smile started looking more like a snarl-wearing lipstick. Then the anonymous calls started. Midnight whispers. "Walk away, Brooks, or we'll make sure Captain Hero comes home to find his little brother in jail for harassment." I recorded every one. I never raised my voice. I just said, "Have a blessed day," and hung up. Let them think I was weak. The longer they underestimated me, the deeper I dug. By month 3 the neighborhood had split. Half still bought Vanessa's narrative that I was the deadbeat brother who'd failed our hero. The other half started side-eyeing her when she walked by. I kept my head down and my evidence folder thick. Mia introduced me to Marcus Reed, the shark attorney who specialized in HOA bloodbaths. He read my file, listened to the recordings, and actually laughed, the dark, delighted laugh of a man who loves destroying tyrants. Ethan, this isn't just wrongful foreclosure. This is a federal violation of the Service Members Civil Relief Act. She deliberately targeted deployed personnel. We're not suing for the house. We're suing for blood, punitive damages, and her resignation on live TV. We filed at 8:01 a.m. The next morning. By noon the local news van was parked outside the HOA office. Vanessa went full damage control Karen. Smiling for cameras, clutching her pearls, telling reporters, "We simply followed procedure. Rules apply to everyone, even our brave service members." The way she said brave made me want to throw up. But I stayed silent. I let the evidence speak. The threats escalated. My mailbox was smashed, ironic, since that was one of Ryan's violations. Someone spray-painted snitch on my garage door at 3 a.m. I power-washed it off before sunrise, took photos, added them to the growing pile. Vanessa's board meetings became spectacles. She'd glare at me from the podium while I sat in the front row now, calm as a monk, taking meticulous notes. The other board members started shifting uncomfortably in their seats. One of them, Tom Whitaker, the quiet accountant type, caught my eye after a meeting and gave the tiniest nod. That was the night he called me. "Ethan, I can't sleep anymore." She bragged in the private chat about how easy it is to flip military homes. I have the screenshots. I have the audio from the last executive session where she literally said, "These soldiers are never here to defend themselves, it's free real estate. If you protect me, I'll testify." I met him at a park at dawn. He handed over everything. My hands didn't even shake anymore. This was the moment I'd been waiting for. The patient, silent observation finally paying off in a folder thick enough to bury an empire. Court day arrived faster than anyone expected. The gallery was packed. Veterans, military spouses, even a few Sunnyvale neighbors who'd finally seen through the pearls. Vanessa sat at the defense table in a new pastel suit, chin high, like she was the victim of a witch hunt. Her lawyer droned on about procedural compliance and homeowner responsibility. I almost laughed out loud when he said the words community standards. Then Marcus called Tom Whitaker. The courtroom went dead silent as Tom recounted, voice steady, how Vanessa had explicitly directed the board to target deployed owners because they're soft targets and the auctions bring in quick cash for our discretionary fund. He played the recording. Vanessa's own voice filled the room crystal clear. "Let's be honest, these military families drag down curb appeal. Auction the properties, refresh the neighborhood, and everyone wins except the ones who can't fight back from a desert." Gasps rippled through the gallery. Vanessa's face went the color of spoiled milk. Her lawyer started frantically whispering. The judge didn't even let the cross-examination finish. She leaned forward, eyes like steel. "Ms. Hargrove, did you or did you not knowingly circumvent federal protections for active duty service members?" Vanessa opened her mouth. Nothing came out except a tiny squeak. For the first time in 6 years, President Pearls had no scripted answer. The gavel came down like thunder. Foreclosure and sale declared null and void. Property restored to Captain Ryan Brooks immediately. Hargrove, you are ordered to pay all legal fees, punitive damages, and face an independent audit of every auction you've overseen in the last 5 years. This court finds clear evidence of malicious targeting of protected service members. The gallery exploded. I didn't cheer. I just closed my eyes and breathed for the first time in months. Outside on the courthouse steps, reporters swarmed. Vanessa tried to slip out a side door, pearls clutched in a death grip, but the cameras caught her anyway. Her perfect smile had finally cracked wide open, revealing the ugly truth underneath. 2 weeks later, Ryan's plane touched down. I met him at the airport in his own truck, freshly washed, flag flying straight and proud. He didn't say much on the drive home. When we pulled into the driveway, he just sat there staring at the house like he was afraid it would disappear again. Then he turned to me, eyes wet. You took every punch they threw and never swung back until it mattered. I trusted you with my house, but you protected something bigger. Thank you doesn't cover it, little brother. We stood on the porch, the same porch where Vanessa's new owners had once high-fived, and hugged like we were kids again. That night we burned every HOA fine letter in the backyard fire pit, while drinking warm beer and laughing at how ridiculous it all was. $12,000, Ryan kept saying, shaking his head. She tried to steal my life for the price of a used Honda, but we didn't stop there. With Mia's help, Marcus's legal muscle, and Tom Whitaker now safely on our side, we launched the Guardian Flag Foundation. Free legal aid for any military family tangled in predatory HOA nonsense. Ryan started speaking at events in uniform. I handled the quiet research, the patient evidence gathering, the silent observation that had won us the war. Sunnyvale Estates even voted in a new board. Vanessa. Last I heard, she moved to a condo downtown. No HOA, just sweet, glorious anonymity. The neighborhood still looks perfect on the outside. Same beige houses, same rose bushes. But now when someone's grass gets a little long, nobody calls the president. They call me. And I smile because I know exactly how this game is played. So here's the question I want you to answer honestly in the comments. Was Vanessa Hargrove just enforcing the rules like every other HOA president, protecting property values for the greater good? Or was she a thief in pearls who finally got what she deserved? Who was really in the wrong, the guy who stayed silent and patient until he could strike back, or the woman who weaponized bylaws against the very heroes she claimed to honor? Drop your verdict below. Because in Sunnyvale Estates, the grass isn't the only thing that got cut today. And justice? Justice just moved back in.